welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a really excited project. We are going to sew a quilted jacket. The pattern for the quilted jacket you are going to find down below in the description box in my shop. There are also many other projects and patterns, so make sure to check them out. You might have seen the other video that I just posted. It's a turtleneck sweatshirt, and the pattern you're also going to find in my shop. And the sweatshirt pattern is the first pattern where you also get a beamer document. That means you can open that with your computer or so, and then with a beamer you can project the pattern right on the fabric, so you don't have to print it all out. You are going to have the printed version and the projector version. Do looking for that because it's more sustainable. You don't have to print it, you can just beam it right on your fabric, cut around. You also don't have to storage it or anything like that. And I am going to look forward to have always two options, so when you get the pattern you have the both options. And if you don't want to miss any other video, I would really love you to subscribe or give this video a big thumbs up so you're not missing any other video. So for now I'm just gonna say let's get started, and I'm gonna tell you what you need. So for this project you obviously need some quilted fabric. I have this one right here. I am gonna link that just down below. You see it has this really nice quilted pattern on. It's black from the inside and white from the outside. I'm gonna do a white one. Then I have some bias tape, which you can just see here. It's basically just some tape for your seams, so you see it. Then I have this elastic part, which you're also going to need on your pattern. It is for the cuff, and it's a little bit thicker than for the sweatshirt, if you remember and if you have seen the video. And then you obviously need the small scissor, fabric scissor. Then you have your trick marker or a marker which goes away by time or by heat. You have a zipper. Mine is obviously white. It is 50 centimeters long. Some thread. Also I'm going to use these pins again. And obviously you are going to need the pattern. This is the pattern I'm working with. So for the cuff I have this really elastic cotton fabric, which is really thick. It's thicker than a normal one for a sweatshirt. Make sure to get that. It's also coming into a loop.
You remember I asked you to meet in the middle. Now I'm here all alone again. You remember I call you. You were talking in riddles. Now you're lying to me again. You think I'm going crazy, but I'm not missing you. I only miss the illusion you pretended to be. I'm not acting crazy. I just said we're through. Baby, you gave a lot. What about trust?
Now you see I just sewed that all the way along. Now you can turn that, and what we are going to do, we're going to fold this like right sides together, just like this, one of the pocket bags, and pin that on the other side of the slit. And you have your marks, so make sure that's 1 centimeter probably longer, but we do want that and we do need that. Like this, and now I'm going to sew this way and also the other way along, and then I'm going to fold this part on.
How could I be so stupid when I got all the signs? I guess that is love. Now the red flags are lucid, and I know that I'll be fine. I guess that is self-love. You think I'm going crazy, but I'm not missing you. I only miss the illusion you pretended to be. I'm not acting crazy. I just said we're through.
Just sewed the back, you can see right here. And what we are going to do now, we sew all the way around the pocket. Make sure that's all even and close on top of each other, so you can just sew ahead. And After we are going to put the bias tape on, so really make sure to get close to the edge so you don't have too much space between the bias tape and the seam. What you can do now with the cover back, you can just sew in safeties to points so they're nice and flat, and you can really the back is not moving. Then you take your bias tape and you have a line, that's the middle line of the bias tape. And what I'm doing, I'm just going to sew one side on all the way around, and this middle line, like the folding line from the bias tape, is right on the end of the seam. So I'm just going to go all the way around, and after, how you see right now, I'm just going to top stitch. So I'm really able to pull everything over. Sometimes a little bit tricky because I used 1.5 centimeter wide bias tape, but you can also use a bigger, wider bias tape. I would prefer and recommend you to use at least a 2 centimeter one, that's tape, and I did exactly the same with the second one. So now that we have sewed the pockets, how you can just see, I did use some bias tape, and I showed you one pocket, but I did the other side of the pocket just the same way, how you can just see. And we can just now go ahead and do the zipper part. So I just opened it like this. I'm not having the foot on here, and what I'm doing, I'm just gonna place it on this side, and I'm just gonna go ahead from the bottom. I am gonna leave about 1 centimeter free because obviously this is gonna go over it. So 1 centimeter above, I will go start and pin that all the way down to the top. And the other side of the zipper, I basically need, because this part is laying just like this, so we have to do the same on the side. And here again, the zipper is just like this, and we're gonna turn that, and we also again put 1 centimeter above, and then we just start. Just go and sew the zipper on. I'm gonna use a presser foot for the zipper, so it's a zipper presser foot, so I get really well on close to the zipper. How you can just see the zipper is on. It's also really nice and close to the edge, which what we want. And we are now gonna put this part, like the collar part, on the front part. So we are gonna take some pins and just gonna go ahead and pin that down. And obviously we are going to have a corner here because we have the waistband on, so just ignore that for now. But what we want to do is, I'm just going to turn that, and we want to fold the front part 1 centimeter inwards, and just gonna sew it like this on top. I'm gonna close that out. So we're gonna fold, that's the front with the pocket, the front part. We are going to sew this with a little fold on here, see. We need that to put the waistband on better. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So everything is now attached, the zipper is in here. I have not used bias bias tape just yet. I'm gonna use that on the very end for that. And what we are gonna do now, we just take the two other pieces and place them right sides together, just like this. The other side like this. And we are going to sew now from the top to the bottom and also this corner. So the whole area right here. So both parts are just now sewed together. How you can just see they are attached. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna cut off these corners. How you can see, just like this. So we have nice corners all the way. And in here there is a curve which I'm gonna cut just a little pieces in, so it's nice and flat. Don't cut too much. So we flap that over, poke the corners out really well, like this. So you grab into the corner, turn it out. So you have a really nice and flat layering. So you can see we have now a really nice edge on the zipper part, and it's also a little bit more comfortable in the front, so it keeps you warmer a little bit. This is going to be on top of this, and then you have your pockets. And just for now, we are going to take now, if you turn that just like this, we are going to sew these parts just right here. Sewing it along. Maybe it's easier when you close the zipper to see, but that's the collar is going to be. Just like this. So if you like, you can just go ahead and try that on if that's around your neck, but it should be. And we are going to do the bag just now, like when I turn that, that's going to be the bag. So I want you to take your back part and make sure to have all your marks in, what you need. And the first thing we're gonna do is just sewing on the hem part. And I want you there to put your sewing machine on a really large schedule, so we can after make it smaller. So, and you're just gonna start or two. And then you start sewing and you stop about 2 centimeters before the edge. And then I want you to take here the bottom part. So leave the top part away, and then you can just pull on the bottom part, on the bottom thread, and just wrinkle it. You see, I'm just pulled over and I'm making it a little bit even. Because on the back part we do have a little ruffle part. It's not that big of a deal and that much, it's just a little bit. And just like this, I'm gonna leave it because I don't know how much it's gonna be. Maybe it's a little bit less or a little bit more. We are gonna see that. So now we have the front part and we have the back part. I'm putting the front part just like this downwards, and I have also the black side up from this part. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fold that so I can pin the back mid. That's what I'm going to do. I have marked the back mid just here, and I'm just going to take both parts just like this and just going to go all the way around. What I just figured out is I placed it on and I thought the back piece is too big. You might see that too, that's about 2 centimeters too much on both sides. But that's right, it's about having a corner right here, and you are going to sew, if you have your sleeve part, this is your shoulder part and this is the neck part, and we just pinned the pattern on right here, and what we are going to sew onto that is a piece who is like this. You see what I mean? So you have your shoulder even here in a tiny corner, and this corner and that corner. So this corner right there has to go on this corner right there, but we have it's like mirrored, so it's really hard to get that on. But just a tip is to put this corner right on this pinning, and then the back mid pin, and also the shoulder pin, and then you're just gonna place the fabric on them, and then because you're gonna sew this just like this on top. It might be a little bit confusing, so like this. So the corner, whenever you have your pattern, you can check that if you like. This part has to be on this part, and that's going to be exactly the same. But then you have to twist it about really 30 degrees, and then you see you have two mirrored corners, and not corners, curves. So that's why it's so tricky to get on, and you might think that the back part is too big for the front part, but that's not how it is. So the pattern is perfectly fine, but I just figured that out. So I'm going to put some bias tape on the collar right here from the inside, and also right here downwards. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. That's the, if you see, that's the collar from the outside, and you turn that, and then you have your double folded part. So I'm also going to put bias tape on here. And just a tip with bias tape, just take the whole tape and measure right onto the pattern. So don't measure, cut measure. So what I do, I'm just gonna go ahead, take a little bit more so the bias tape can be there, like this, this, and that. And I'm gonna cut a little bit more, so that's for the collar. And then for this part, I'm also gonna go ahead and just and there's also one tip with bias tape, which you can see mine is not really big. You might get a 2 centimeter bias tape, which is a little bit better to work with. I have this 1.5 wide one, and it's okay, but I would prefer a 2 centimeter one. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place that right here. You see this line right there? That's where I want this to be, like the edge right there. And I'm just going to sew on top, and then on the second row I'm just gonna, because then I can really pull this over, and then I'm gonna top stitch that. And I just figured out, so I have about this much of a bias tape. Just gonna fold that really quick and top stitch, because or you don't have to, there's not a pattern in here, but I just figured out that it might be better to have a jacket to well hang up. I just top stitched it now, and I'm just gonna fold it like this, and I am just gonna place that right onto the back mid. You have your seam right there. So how you just saw, I put bias tape on the collar part, so this is looking really nice, and also on the part right here. I left this open, like this part I left that open just because we are putting the waistband on, and I want that bias tape to be on every edge. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm folding that up, and we are gonna put the sleeves in. So you have your marks right here. So this is one mark, and you have on the other side you have two. So the same one you have on your sleeve just here. So this one is going on this side, and that one is going on right here. And I'm just gonna take my pins, go ahead and pin that. Just pin on the marks first, and you also have one on the top, so make sure to mark that too. And of course our two ones right here and the end of the sleeves. And then you're just gonna place two just right here maybe, and just go ahead and sew this. And I'm gonna sew this right here and also sew the other side. And also I'm gonna put just for now bias tape, but only on this curve, because after we are gonna sew the side seams. So now I have sewed that. You see these are the sleeves and there's bias tape on, and so I really like how it looks from the inside. Using bias tape is really worth it. What I'm gonna do now is just sewing the side seams, and I am again putting bias tape on. So how you decide, tried it on, this is how it looks just right now. We do have to do the sleeves just now, like the cuff on here, and we also have the bottom here, the waistband, and I am gonna fold this just like this. If you like, you can just go ahead and sew this along, but again I'm just gonna flat pull that on there. And now you remember why we sewed this like this way, and we do have to seam this little part. So after I took the little piece apart, I have the 1 centimeter open. Now I'm able to just pin the waistband on until to the side seam, and then I'm stopping. I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side. They are right sides together and fold it. Make sure to have 1 centimeter longer taken. You also have your marks, so you can just use your marks, and I'm also again doing it until the side seam. Now you have your bag, and how you remember we had ruffled, like we ruffled it, and you can just now make it a little bit more even. Sometimes you have to make it even more ruffled, or you have to do less ruffled. That's up to you. Mine looks kind of perfectly fine. I had just the right feeling for it, I guess. So, and then you can just go ahead and sew this part right on. So how you see, that's how you have it now sewed on. It should look like this. So you have your two parts. I'm folding it over and I'm gonna sew right down, and I'm putting bias tape also on it, and I'm gonna do the same part on the other side too. And here's the cuff on, and I am gonna just fold that and sew along, and I'm gonna do this obviously with both of them. So again, we need 4 of them, and we also need 4 of them here. What we're gonna do, we put that now, just we are gonna replace every single pin for that, and now we have to stretch it, and we're just gonna sew all the way along. I'm gonna fold that up, and that's how you have it usually, but I want that to be not seen. So what I'm doing, it's also in the pattern, I'm gonna push that about 3 centimeters downwards. Gonna measure 3 centimeters, and then I'm just gonna put a pin in. And now you can, if you like, you can just do it in the top. But what I like to prefer, because you are going to see that, I am just going to sew right here around. Sewed it, and you can pull this up now. And okay guys, that's it for today. I really hope you liked today's video. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and maybe subscribe. We have the jacket now finally done. You tag me on Instagram, so I'm gonna see what you do. I'm really excited what you're gonna do with all these patterns. See you in the next video. Bye!